Kind greetings to you all. Kind greetings to you all. I welcome you to Marine Education Services, and this session is suitable for students in Senior 5 and Senior 6 who are offering chemistry as part of their subject combinations. Kindly, if you do not fall under the mentioned category, let us first comment on what we call the Octet Rule. The Octet Rule. Now, what does this mean? Octets write these things the way I am writing them. Otherwise, for me, I'm not organized, but according to how I write them, you are going to understand them. Yeah, so write them the way I am presenting them. So we have oct and octet comes from oct and 8. Oct means 8 and 8 means electrons. So what does this mean? This means, so this is the preference. The preference of atoms, this is the preference of atoms to have this is the preference of atoms to have 8 electrons, in their outermost shells. So it's the preference of atoms to have 8 electrons in their outermost shells. So this results in stability. Of bonding atom. So this rule of 8 electrons also, one can memorize it. One can memorize it as the rule of 8 electrons. The rule of 8 electrons in the outermost shell. As simple as that. Yeah. Octet rule, what is it? The rule of 8 electrons in the outermost shell. As simple as that. Yeah, but technically it's the preference of atoms to have 8 electrons, to have a fully filled. Alternatively, you will encounter these words for those of you who read a lot of books. Alternatively, you also encounter these words, tendency of an atom to have fully filled outermost shell. Or what do I mean by fully filled outermost shell? It should have 8 electrons. Yeah. I.e., for example, if I have my element A with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now this is what we call A follows the octet rule. F follows the octet. F follows the octet rule. Why is it following the octet rule? Because it has 8 electrons. It has 8 electrons in its outermost shell. Hope I've explained the octet rule. Yeah, so it follows the octet rule because it has 8 electrons in the outermost shell. It is important to note that atoms of elements participate in bonding to achieve the octet rule. Atoms of elements participate in bonding to achieve the octet rule. I.e., kindly make this illustration. Make this illustration which I'm going to display. Make this illustration. Where is it? It is here. Make this illustration. It is not visible. I can see here. That you are not seeing it. You are not seeing it. I think I have to share the entire screen. Yeah. So make this illustration. I.e., this illustration. Can you make this illustration? So I'm saying that atoms participate in bonding to achieve the octet rule. How? So the atom you are seeing here is sodium. Edit. Where is edit? Where are you, edit? Edit is here. The atom you are seeing here, this is sodium. And we saw this. Formation of ionic compounds. And this is chlorine. I don't need to explain it so much. And this is chlorine. Yeah. So sodium has electronic configuration. It has electronic configuration 2 to 8 to 1. So that's why it has that representation. Then chlorine has electronic configuration 2 to 8 to 7. Now you see, octet rule is a rule of 8 electrons, in the outermost shell. And I am emphasizing that sodium and chlorine participate in bonding to achieve the octet rule. They participate in bonding to achieve the octet rule. Like here, you see, this shell is the last shell is not obeying. Kindly write these things, put them there the way I am writing them. Yeah, put them there. Don't decide on what to write and what not to write. Put them there. So the last shell, this is not obeying. It is not obeying. It's not obeying octet rule. Why? It is not having 8 electrons. Also, this shell is not obeying octet rule. Therefore, they combine so that they can follow octet rule. They undergo ionic bonding so that they can achieve octet rule. That's why sodium loses outermost electrons to form this. Now you see this one here. This follows or obeys. Let me use obey. This obeys. It obeys octet rule. Also, this obeys octet rule. It obeys octet rule. Yeah, that. So atoms of elements participate in bonding to achieve the octet rule. Now, are you seeing here down? Now, down here, we are having formation of the chlorine molecule. This is formation of the chlorine molecule. Chlorine molecule comes from, we also saw this, how chlorine molecule is formed. Chlorine molecule is Cl2. So it comes from Cl plus Cl. So one Cl has 8 electrons in the outermost shell. 1 has 7, sorry, not 8. 2, 3, 4, 5. This is not correct. Let me rub it off. I have said this is formation of Cl2. Cl2 comes from Cl and Cl. And Cl has electronic configuration 2 to 8 to 7. Yeah. So there are 2 Cls that are combined. We saw earlier on how this is formed. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and another one. Cl. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You see these last shells here, the outermost shells. Hope you are seeing them. These are not obeying octet rule. They are not obeying octet rule. Therefore, bonding occurs so that they obey octet rule. Why are they not obeying octet rule? They are not having 8 electrons in their outermost shells. For anything to obey octet rule, it has to have 8 electrons in the outermost shell. Now you see here, they bond. Here they bond. So this is, you see, and it is a covalent bond. So one chlorine contributes. So this is 1 electron which has come from 1 chlorine. And also, this is another electron which has come from the other chlorine. So one contributes 1 electron and also another one contributes 1 electron. Now you see this circle. Look at this circle only. Look at it. This circle follows or obeys. It obeys octet rule. Obeys octet rule. Also, this one obeys octet rule. Why is it obeying? It is having 8 electrons in the outermost shell. So you also count. Look at one circle. Look at this circle. Look at one circle at a time. You see that it has 8 electrons. So example 1 for sodium chloride is for ionic bonding. Then this one down is for covalent bonding. Kindly take note of those 2. Take note of them. So hopefully the octet rule is understood. It is understood. So I can stop sharing this. Atoms of elements participate in bonding to achieve the octet rule. Hopefully you've noted down those illustrations. So note the 2 illustrations. Note the 2 illustrations plus those words which I have made there, those plus the highlights plus the highlights which I have made. Yeah, plus the highlights which I have made. So what does this imply? So it implies that obeying Octet Rule, what does this mean? Obeying Octet Rule means that an atom has 8 electrons, in the last shell this is not appropriate. It has 8 electrons in the outermost shell. Obeying Octet Rule means that an atom has 8 electrons in the outermost shell. Therefore, it is stable. Then, not obeying Octet Rule means that an atom has fewer than 8 electrons. It has fewer than 8 electrons in the outermost shell, meaning that it is not stable. It's not stable.